Good morning. Happy Sunday. Well, I'm surprised as much as you that I'm even posting because my plan was, like I do every few months, my plan was to be fully off socials for at least 2 months. I always find it liberating, freeing. It's a bit like having a spring clean energetically by not being on social media and being distracted by all the noise. It's been wonderful, actually. Little bliss bubble. Didn't even know the Pope had died. So, but here I am, and I'm here because it's come to my attention yet again that good men and women are becoming undone in different processes, not due to ill intention, but because there are little gaps or holes in some of the activities that they're doing, which then can quickly unravel them. And there's a lot of posts, especially if you're in Australia listening to this. We have a federal election coming up. I'll share another post about what I feel about voting later. But yes, so of course there's a lot more posts than usual in this space. So I just wanted to share today. We could call it Sunday's soapbox moment. And look, if only one human listens to me this morning, then I'm okay with that. If it makes a difference in one human's life, then that is a true blessing. I see a lot of, I call it the truther movement. I see a lot of groups in the truther movement sharing the dream of sovereignty. And I have a video that I've shared a few months ago, why I don't choose to be sovereign and why I prefer to be Suveran. Words matter. So in the description of this Sunday soapbox, I will share the link to that previous education that I shared about the difference of being sovereign versus Suveran. These things really do matter, and the devil really is in the detail. So why does it matter? Walking the path of true self-governance is one of the most powerful choices a man or woman can make. But it also comes with deep responsibility. These are just my humble thoughts, just from me, by the way. This journey is not about grabbing a golden ticket that a group or someone offers you. It really is about doing the inner work, the critical thinking, and the real world lawful action that you take upon yourself every single day. This is why discernment matters. That is why the details matter. Please be wary of groups that sell sovereignty. Look, there are many groups, courses, marketing campaigns that promise shortcuts. There might be a little bit, they offer cheap solutions. Buy this template, do this course, get this document and do it yourself and you will be free. I am telling you, it is so freaking tempting, especially when the system is broken. It feels so unjust, especially when one is exhausted, desperate, or angry. And I'm seeing a lot of shares and posts in that energy field at the moment. But I believe it is dangerous to believe that sovereignty can be bought or handed over like that. It cannot. Sovereignty, and again, if you want to know what sovereignty means, I will place the link to that in the description. Sovereignty is not a cookie cutter template. It's not a product. It is a journey, an individual journey of lawful comprehension, critical thinking, and action. No template can grant you the maturity, wisdom, and responsibility that is needed. So, why do I think it is not in one's best interest to be sovereign? I feel that the word sovereign is miscomprehended often. Many mistakenly believe that to be sovereign means that you are outside the law or immune from consequences, and that is false, and it is a dangerous misconception. Declaring yourself sovereign without comprehending the responsibilities involved, it does attract unwanted attention from statutory authorities. It can leave you exposed and therefore without remedy that you were originally seeking. Worse still, it can make you an easy target for being labelled as operating unlawfully. And really, true Suveranty is about lawful self-determination, not lawlessness. So why being sovereign and taking responsibility is the true path? And yes, we all need to start somewhere, and there are some amazing good-hearted groups in Australia and abroad sharing amazing information and are bringing like-minded living men and women together, and that is golden. But at the end of the day, it is about embodying personal responsibility. You just can't take a pill, right? You can't just use a template. It really does mean critical thinking about every action you take. It means doing your own research and not relying on others to save you. It means creating self-governance in your life, your family, your affairs. It is about mindset, discipline, and lawful action, not magical documents or grand declarations. It's the small daily steps of taking responsibility which builds true strength. Because the little things are the big things. I've been told I can be a little bit pedantic when I point out the tiny details. But the little things, the wrong word, the wrong process, the wrong timing, are exactly what grow into the big things that cannot undo a man or woman when challenged. The public space, the system runs on technicalities. Remedy also runs on precision. Attention to detail is not optional. It is survival. So, why do I think that just selling templates and not doing something one-on-one and not having direct case-by-case remedy can be reckless? I've done many courses over the years in group work, and I have found them so beneficial. So I still believe, I think they have a place. But when it comes to when things are high stakes, I do believe that cookie cutter approach is probably not the best way to go. I actually feel that groups selling these templates and courses are often well-meaning. They want to share what they've learned. They really want to help. But remedy is not a cookie cutter process because each man and woman's situation is different. Each notice, trust, private membership association or unincorporated group or process must be carefully, lawfully crafted for the specific facts and circumstances. I guess I've learnt by trial by error, right, myself in this space. I've tried the ready-made documents. I just feel that ready-made documents without explaining the depth of responsibility involved is truly reckless. And I have been through that mill myself. It sets people up to fail when challenged. and it hurts the entire movement by creating chaos and mistrust. For example, a trust that is incorrectly drafted can be pierced by the tax office or courts. A bill of exchange that does not meet all lawful elements can be rejected and trigger enforcement actions. A private membership association that does not properly separate itself from the public domain can be deemed a business and be subject to regulations, taxes, fines, and audits. A notice served incorrectly can waive your rights rather than protect them. Each mistake, innocent or not, made in ignorance or haste, gives statutory bodies an opening to drag good men and women back into the system. A good example about this is how private structures are run. We do not want to be under the wrath of public exposure. For example, if you're operating a non-profit, non-government, unincorporated project in the private that has purpose, mission, legacy, that is being of service, genuinely being of service, that it's private membership benefit only, then that project cannot accept money from the public. A man or woman must become a private member first before receiving any member benefit, service or good. And the overall overarching umbrella structure must have the correct bylaws for that to happen. It must include real international laws, covenants and treaties, the right ones. You could have 80 wrong ones. That is not going to help you. But having just the few right ones is so important. This means that the prospective member must first apply for membership. They must be accepted according to the bylaws. They must have the opportunity to read and agree to the terms. Contract law. And there must be a cooling off period for that as well. Only then, after completing the private membership process, may money be accepted in the private. Now, I am giving a really shallow overview of this. There is devil in the detail, and if you want to know more about what I'm talking about, then please just get in touch with me. Happy to have a one-on-one chat about it. If those things don't take place, then the private association is still engaging in trade and commerce in the public. This leaves the founders and officers of the PMA exposed to statutory laws, such as corporate regulations, for example, ASIC, ATO and the ACCC in Australia. It totally nullifies the private protections and invites government enforcement action. So, also, if a private group is using public platforms, please check the terms and conditions of the public platforms they are using, because these are public contracts, not private agreements. Without very specific disclaimers and airtight bylaws, this puts this private project at great risk. Like I said, if you want to chat about any of that further, just get in touch. I'm always happy to have a yarn about these things. And the same applies to trusts, bills of exchange, notices. Every lawful structure or process must be done properly. Otherwise, the wheels of automation in the public, for example, debt collection, court summons, license suspensions, asset seizures, will roll on without mercy. A half-correct remedy is worse than no remedy at all. It gives the illusion of safety while leaving you wide open. I can honestly say on this Sunday morning, I wish I flipping didn't care. I wish I could say, it's fine, do whatever, trust anyone. The problem is I really do care. So please do your due diligence. Please ask the hard questions. Sometimes listen to the space between the words on a vibrational, energetic level. Please look into the backgrounds, the length of experience, the motivations, the intentions of those you are seeking education from. In fact, if someone claims to be giving you advice or claims to be an expert, be even more cautious. The real journey of Suveranty is about taking back your own discernment, your responsibility, your power, not handing it to someone else. By all means, get guidance, link arms with educators in this space. We only know what we know till we know something more, better, right? But the work begins with you, and it is worth it. I live and breathe this. It is probably one of the most satisfying, rewarding, being of service, life passions that I've ever been involved with. I have learnt from my own mentors that it is reckless to attempt black belt lawful processes when you're still at white belt level. In martial arts, and yes, those of you who know me will never find me on a martial arts karate mat, for example. However, as a metaphor, no one expects a white belt, a beginner, to execute black belt techniques perfectly. The foundations must be built first. Balance, awareness, discipline, correct breathing and reaction. Lawful processes are no different. Trying to jump ahead to advanced remedies, trusts, liens, commercial processes, high-level private membership association structuring, international notices, bills of exchange, court challenges. Without mastering the foundations, this is reckless for several reasons. You don't yet comprehend the battlefield. The statutory system is designed with traps, presumptions, and fine print everywhere. Without the necessary comprehension of jurisdiction, contract law, evidence rules, presumptions, and public versus private, you won't even see the traps until it's too late. And it's easy to make small mistakes that have big consequences. At white belt level, you won't even know you've made a fatal mistake until statutory processes roll on. For example, court orders, fines, license suspensions, asset seizures, contempt charges, default judgments. The system does not care if it was an honest mistake. The system operates on procedure, not compassion. And sometimes you can waive your rights without realizing it. If you make a procedural error, wrong wording, wrong timing, wrong jurisdiction, you can inadvertently consent to jurisdiction you are trying to avoid. Once you give silent consent, implied consent, or defective process, the statutory world locks you in and remedy becomes much harder and sometimes impossible. And look, you don't want to create a precedent against yourself. A failed attempt often creates a public record that can be used against you later. For example, courts can refer to it. Agencies can reference it. Future remedy efforts may be prejudice. It's like stepping into the ring too early, getting knocked out, and now everyone knows your weaknesses. And something I see all the time, you actually may be putting others at risk. If you are part of a group, a private membership association, trust, or family unit, and you improperly act without full comprehension, you might not just harm yourself, you could open the door for statutory authorities to come after others. This is about do no harm, cause no loss, duty of care. Responsibility isn't just personal, it's communal. It devalues true remedy. When many jump into high-level remedy without discipline, care, and true comprehension, it actually weakens the credibility of all lawful private remedy-based work. And I have seen that over the last few years. It creates a sea of failure, miscomprehension, and confusion, which statutory bodies love because it gives them public examples to point to. See, doesn't work. It places fear into the ring. True remedy requires honour, not shortcuts. I just think it's important we need to take these things into consideration. And yes, some may think I'm just standing on my soapbox. Some might think, what does she know? I am just sitting here in my living room on a Sunday morning, sharing because I care. I believe that the way to walk on that better path is to master the basics first. Walk before you run. Build true comprehension through study, observation, practice, and small disciplined steps. Seek one-on-one, case-by-case mentorship. Seek out a mentor who is going to walk the path with you. Value honour, patience, and precision over speed in yourself and others. Because true suveranty, and I'll remind you there's a difference between sovereignty and suveranty, is earned. It really isn't purchased, downloaded, or declared. The journey is not just outward, it really is inward first. Like I've said, I am always happy to have one-on-one chats about this space. And just so you know, this channel is a project of a non-profit, non-government, unincorporated private members association being of service to its members and the wider community. So if you feel aligned to support, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll put information to get in touch in the description. Be well.